So, with that being said, is here, if I were to have grabbed a number 1 or 2 or 3, okay, what it's going to do, it's going to give me that blunt cut that a machine gives. This actually has texture. I can actually put pomade in here and mess with it. So what I'm going to do right now is, actually first, I want to show you our capes. How many of you used our capes before? So I need a couple handful of you. How many of you used the capes with buttons? Velcro? Okay, when we're using those buttons, does it fit every size neck? No, right? Sometimes you have to use that little hook. With ours, we have an elastic band that goes all the way around and 2 hooks on each side. So all we have to do is grab 1 hook here. Let's see if I can get it here. I'm going to use you now, huh? I'm going to grab 1 here, put it there, put it there. And it's done. It's that, 2 seconds, if that. You don't have to switch it out for a little kid, big guy, anything like that. It's really lightweight, so your client's not going to be sweating. Because sometimes you get those male clients that are, pretty heavy, and they're, getting a little sweaty up here. But I'm feeling a little sweaty right now, huh? No, I wouldn't use this for chemical services. This would just be for haircuts, okay? So what I'm actually going to do on him is I'm actually going to style his hair with one of our products here. I'm going to use our original gel to actually blow dry. With our original gel, it actually is really strong. How many of you seen our gel here? This is the original. We actually put it into a tube, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get a dime size. Right there. And I'm going to actually put it inside his hair here. So it's actually going to help me create my base. Especially when I'm actually, I'm not going to do it on his hair, but when I'm cutting hair, I like to use it as a cutting tool. So when I'm cutting a faux hawk, I can actually pick up the hair and it stays. And it gives me my base. It does not contain any alcohol. So when I start blow drying it, it's not going to flake. Which, that's basically what we want. So with him, I'm going to give him, his hair was really long, so it's trying to lay in many different ways. So I'm going to try to give him just like a classic side part, messy look. So with our texture comb, every tool that I'm using here, everything that I'm using is going to be through Johnny B, other than the machines themselves or the Cool Care. Everything else is going to be Johnny B. So everything that you see me using, we will have it here. So what I do is I actually comb the hair back. Now if you notice here on the side, his hair is already naturally parting. I'm going to use that. I'm not going to create something. Now if I try to create it on the other side, it's not going to work. So that's the reason why I like to comb it back, and if it falls, it starts falling here. So all I have to really do is pull it to the side. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and grab my blow dryer. This is the difference now between barbershops or barbers now in this day and age than the ones, when I first started. 6-7 years ago when I first started, the only reason why we would use a blow dryer is to do this. That's the only reason why we would use it. But now, day and age now, these haircuts, they actually need to be blow dried. They actually need to be styled. So in order for us to give this kind of haircut, we got to show them how to style their hair. If we don't, there's no reason for me to give them a haircut that has style to it. Someone comes in and wants a pompadour or wants a side part, if they don't even comb their hair, what's the point, right? You got to show them how to do this. So for me, first of all, I don't know how stylists do it all day, grabbing this and doing here, doing that, and doing this. For me, just doing this little part hurts my shoulders. So I commend you guys for that. So I'm actually just going to put some pressure here and just start picking it up. And this is probably more your guys' style, getting into this brush, getting into the blow dryer. In the front, you want to actually put a little bit more tension. That way it picks up. His hair was really curly once it gets long, so it's perfect to blow dry it. I don't want to fall off the stage. While I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the other model that I already cut and styled his hair. Go ahead and come up. And just kind of like stand right here and do a little turnaround action. So with his hair, I actually cut it down with the two on the sides, and I gave him the clipper over comb to meet to the top, and I gave him texture on top. Now, the product that I use is the street cream. If I would have used a gel, the texture of his hair is not too thick. Okay, so if I would have used the gel, all the texture that I put on top, a gel, what's it going to do? It's going to weigh it down, and it does what a gel is supposed to do. It clumps up the hair, and it hardens it up. Am I right? Now, a pomade, the reason why I use the pomade is so that I could actually show the texture. There's no point in me going in there with the texturing or, using the scissors in different ways if I'm just going to, shellac gel on it. No, you're going to use a pomade. Now, if you notice, the pomade actually spreads it out a lot more. If I were to put a gel, it's just going to weigh it down and not give it that class look.
So you use street cream and pomade?
No, it's just a street cream is our pomade.
Oh.
Okay, so a round of applause for our model here. A lot of people always tell me what the difference between a pomade and a gel is. That's one of the differences. So every time a client comes in, or a model, whoever it's going to be, you always want to make sure you see what type of hair, how their hair falls. That's the way you're going to know what product to use. All our products we have for every types of hair. Thick, thin, light, almost going bald. We have everything. It's really dark on this side, huh? So if you notice, this is more of an old classic look, traditional. One of the things that we are trying to push a lot is to bring back the traditional aspects of barbering. Using pomades, also using aftershaves right after you're done using whatever with your haircut. We have 3 steps. We cut on the sides, dry. The second step is we use the original gel to cut on top with the shears. It's not going to damage your shears. One of the reasons why I say that is because if it did, I wouldn't be using it. Shears are expensive. I'm sure all of you guys know that. And the third is to style with a pomade. If you ever go to a barbershop and you see them always using gel, when I was in barber school, that's all I used. I was just using gel. I was just, shellacking it on there, because in barber school, we don't really know what we're doing, right? We're leaving lines. If we put gel, what happens? It hides it. It just starts hiding everything. A pomade is not. A pomade is going to show everything that you have done. So those are pretty kind of the differences when you start looking at, barbers, or even when you start looking at these haircuts on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is. A lot of those have kind of took the traditional aspect of it away. So what I'm going to use on him as well, I'm going to use the molding paste. This is our water-based pomade, okay? I'm going to actually still keep the volume here, and I'm going to start knocking it down, running it through his hair with my fingers. Now when we get a pomade, and everyone always says, oh, it's a pomade because you put it on your palm. No, that's not it, okay? We are putting it on our palm. But one of the things that we have to realize is that once we put it on here, we have to emulsify it, okay? When we emulsify it, what does that mean? Add heat. That's the way it starts to work. You basically want to put it in your hand to where it almost disappears. Start running it through your fingers. That way, once I get here, and I actually go to the part, and this is if you're going to use gel as well, you always want to start with the part. So I'm going to go here, here. After everything, I'm just going to start running my hands through it.
Specify why you call, I've always known it as a pomade to be like an oil base or petroleum base, and it has that look to it, whereas the street cream, which I have, my molding paste, I have right here because I use it too.
Okay.
It's a paste. It looks like a paste. It doesn't look like a traditional pomade to me.
So that is our water-based pomade. So one of the things, again, the classic look is going to be an oil-based pomade. So that is going to be the original and the extra hold that we have. I'm sure all of you have seen that one. If not, is Erica out here somewhere?
Yeah, right here.
Come here. That way he can kind of show off what I'm actually talking about while I'm styling his hair. So I'll go into that once it comes up here.
Okay.
So if you notice here now, again, everything just falls into place. It's a natural look. Go ahead and grab the pomade. It's a natural look. And if you notice again, this is more of a vintage type of haircut. Who does this haircut remind you more of? Exactly. And that's what I'm always trying to look for, especially if we're doing some editorial or you're doing anything to show off your type of haircuts. This is the type that you're going to want to use. All of you can do this because this is more of a stylish haircut. But again, your world is starting to become our world, and our world is starting to become your world. Okay, so we both have... That was funny, huh? We have to kind of intertwine. So we have to meet in the middle. So that's why for me, I love to show stylists how to use these clippers, which I'm going to do on the next model here. A round of applause for model here.